Postscript: the September 11, 2001 brutal attacks on the United States, unprecedented in scope and sophistication, killing an estimated 7,000 people and wounding many others, represented the deadliest terrorist operations upon the world history. 19 terrorists hijacked 4 United States airlines, which they used to crash into the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center in New York, the Pentagon in Arlington, Virginia, and a third location, not intended target, a field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. At 8:45 a.m., American Airlines Flight 11, en route from Boston to Los Angeles, with 81 passengers and 11 crew members, crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center. United Airlines Flight 175, also headed from Boston to Los Angeles and carrying 56 passengers and 9 crew members, slammed into the South Tower of the World Trade Center at 9:03 a.m. 25 minutes later, American Airlines Flight 77, scheduled to fly from Dulles International Airlines to Los Angeles with 58 passengers and 6 crew members, crashed into the northwest side of Pentagon at 10 a.m. United Airlines Flight 93, headed from Newark to San Francisco and carrying 38 passengers and 7 crew members, crashed during the struggle between the hijackers and passengers in Pennsylvania. These simultaneous and massive assaults aimed at America's most visible symbols of engineering prowess, as well as unmatched economic and military reputation, were linked to Osama bin Laden's al-Qaeda. United States Secretary of State Colin Powell promised to produce a document that will contain compelling evidence on al-Qaeda's involvement in planning and executing the Day of Infamy operation. President George W. Bush, speaking from Congress on September 20, declared a global war against terrorism. He issued an ultimatum to Afghanistan to immediately turn over bin Laden and al-Qaeda's other leaders to the United States and close all terrorist training camps. The president also insisted that Kabul regime provide the United States with full access to these camps to make sure they are no longer functional. We are planning to publish in the coming months a revised edition of this volume for the purpose of providing updated information on the most notorious terrorist network challenging the United States and the rest of the civilized world. Professor Yona Alexander, Mr. Michael S. Sweatnam, September 28, 2001. Osama bin Laden's al-Qaeda, a profile of a terrorist network. Al-Qaeda, also known as Al-Qaida, Al-Qaeda, Al-Qadr, the International Islamic Front for Jihad against Jews and Crusaders, Islamic Salvation Foundation, the Group for the Preservation of the Holy Sites, Islamic Army for the Liberation of Holy Shrines, the Islamic Army for the Liberation of the Holy Places. So, kind note from myself. The global police, who may or may not be married to the army, we're not specifically investigating the name Al-Qaeda. We are investigating these other also known as is. In order to catch these criminals, we must work together. Brief history. Al-Qaeda emerged from the Maktab al-Khidmat, the Afghan Mujahideen Services Office, around 1989. It serves as an international terrorist network heavily funded and led by its prince Osama bin Laden. The loosely knit network is comprised of various terrorist organizations such as the Egyptian Al-Jihad and dozens of others. Al-Qaeda serves as an informal organizational structure for extremist Arab Afghans, along with thousands of new recruits and supporters in some 55 countries. Kind note from myself. Jihad, it means to do one's utmost. I don't know whether the Christians have a jihad or the Jews have a jihad. To do one's utmost, to help the truth to prevail, to do one's utmost, to do what we can to do what we can to help truth prevail. Now, the truth is the will of God, Allah. The truth is the will of my God, Allah. The prayer, as taught by blessed Jesus, whom we Muslims call Isa ibn Maryam, states, "Thy will be done upon earth as it is upon heaven." His will, Allah's will be done. So how is it like on heaven? It's peaceful. So it's peace on heaven and there'll be peace on earth. So what do you learn what jihad is then? What's jihad? To do one's utmost. Now I'll read more later. I don't know what these criminals call I don't know, maybe, I don't know, I told they're on drugs. Opium.